Alright guys, for today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to make tons and tons of money doing silage, specifically silage corn. It's pretty expensive to get into, but it's by far the most profitable, at least the thing I've found. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun because it's a lot of work. It's not just vanilla planting and harvesting and planting and harvesting. So the first thing that you're going to want is you're going to want to plant. I'm going to show you what you need to get into this. So first thing you're going to need is a tractor. Obviously you can scale this down, but you're going to need a big tractor. Bigger the better, especially for this, because you're going to want the weight to pack it later on. You'll see what I mean by that. So I usually like this 9RT series, or the 9RT series is pretty good. I like tractors the best. I don't like the middle pivot ones. I just don't like them. So 9RT is good. You don't have to be too picky about that. Just get one you like. Next thing you're going to need is a forage harvester. Obviously, the bigger the better. I currently like the John Deere ones, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make too big a difference. What really matters is the harvest speed. Everything else is kind of doesn't really matter. Like the Krone here is bigger, but you're not using the harvester as your storage, so it's not like the other crops where you need the bigger ones to kind of compete. So 9000 series is fine. Any of these work. If you're just getting into it, you can get the cheap one. Not that big a deal. And then another thing you will want, but you don't need, is you probably want a truck to haul it back and forth. And another tractor, and this other tractor is a pack tractor. So you want this, the biggest, baddest thing you can get, okay? It's not the end of the world if you don't have a pack tractor. That's kind of a bonus, but if you can get a pack tractor, get a pack tractor. Biggest, heaviest tractor you can. Okay, as for implements and stuff, obviously we're planting corn, so we're gonna need a planter. This one here, this 17.7 NT, this might be a mod, I'm not too sure. But basically need to plant corn. That's basically what we're going to be harvesting. So this one works fine. This one you don't have to cultivate beforehand. If you get one of these cheaper options, you're going to need a subsoiler or something as well. Subsoiler, where are they at here? A subsoiler would work, or cultivator, but you're going to have to prep the ground first before you can plant. Anyways, not that big a deal. I'm assuming you guys know how to plant corn. So you're going to go ahead and plant corn. And then the other thing you'll need is a forage harvest editor, bigger the better. I currently use the John Deere one because I got the John Deere tractor. So I'm using this 3090 plus 9-meter thing. And then the other two things you're going to want is you're going to have a trailer. This one's a mod, but it works just fine. Lizard Silage Boss, any of these trailers work, just a normal trailer. I like the ones that can connect to a dolly. So like one that would work on a truck, not one that has a hitch. Those are my favorite. And then if you're doing it by yourself and you don't want to use AI, you're going to need a dolly. If you're using AI or you're doing it with a buddy, you don't need a dolly. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So a dolly is recommended for efficiency, especially when you scale the operation up and you want to do 2 or 3 or 4 harvesters at a time. Is one more thing that you're going to need. You're going to want to have you're going to need some way to load the silage back into your truck. I personally use a wheel loader. Just get the big one here, this Lizard 98K wheel loader. And then the bucket for it, which is wheel loader tools, this yellow one here, okay, this one right here, this Lizard 9080K bucket, works just fine. You can use a bunch of different ones, pretty much any bucket will work. You can also use the belt systems, if you're a fan of that, where you just kind of stick it in there and they go, but they're kind of slow. I'm not a huge fan of that, but that is one method you could do. Okay, so the next step you're going to want to do is obviously you're going to want to plant your corn. So I'll get this corn planted, and I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to speed this up for you and take you to the next step. Okay guys, I'm back. I have the corn planted, and now the next step is for this corn to grow. So now that we got the corn planted, we're basically just waiting for the corn to grow. Obviously, if you guys want to use fertilizer or all that, that's up to you. This field's already good to go. I just bought it, but you know, fertilizer, get that yield up as high as you want. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. I don't always do it, but we do have another step to do while we're waiting for this to grow. Guys, I'm back. The corn has grown. One thing to note is that with corn, for silage, you actually don't have to wait for it to be fully grown. You can do it a stage below. So this corn right here, that's fully grown. This is not, but you don't have to have it fully grown. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to hop on your forage harvester, and this is where I like to have the dolly. You can hook up, you can hook up the dolly to a trailer, okay? and you can actually harvest it all on your own. So I'm going to unfold my harvester here, put my pipe out. Okay. Now, if you don't have the dolly, you have to have either a buddy driving this and an AI, and you can drive along next side of it. I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but I'm going to show you what this looks like first. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually harvest the corn now. Turn on your harvester. Okay. And as you can see, it harvests. I'm not completely done, but you can harvest before that crop is fully grown. Okay, that's really, really useful. It saves you a little bit of time, saves your growing stage. So basically you're just going to go through, you're going to harvest the whole field. So this is how you do it with the dolly. I'm going to do a pass here, and then I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I am back. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like if you don't use the dolly. This is the method that me and my friends use. It's kind of the more realistic one, the more fun way. So what you'll do is you unload that. Dolly here. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. So I'm going to slap an AI in here. You could do this, or your buddy can. But I find this way also to be more effective if you're far away from the hauling area. You can kind of get in a rhythm, especially if you have like one driver and then two buddies running truck. That's how we do it a lot of times. So I'm going to set him up here. I'm going to hop in my truck here. That trailer. Okay. And now I'm just going to... Now basically all you're going to do is you're just going to follow him. Okay. So you see the AI, he's driving, spitting that silage into my truck. Doesn't have to be this trailer, you can do a lot of different trailers for this. Bigger the better though, less work in the end. So basically you're just going to drive by him, especially if you have multiple buddies, is the fun way to do it. You can actually have like 3 forage harvesters going and one truck. You could do one truck and then have forest harvester and then rotate your trucks. You can have one on a dolly and keep replacing it, and then basically just drive your truck back and forth, replacing the trailer. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it, just kind of depending on how you want to do it. So I'll be back in a second after we finish this. Alright guys, I'm going to show you the next step now. So I'm going to let that trailer finish harvesting, and now I'm going to show you what you need. So you're going to go to the buy menu, you're going to want to go to construction. You're going to need to go to silos. And then you're going to scroll all the way down to the right here. And now if you'll see these are on are mods. You can either use these are not nearly as fun, but they work. You basically just dump it in, and it you don't have to compact it. In the base game, it comes with these ones. So what you're going to want, I'm going to use the big one because it's a little easier to pack it. We'll just use this. Okay, that'll work. So I'm going to place a silo, and then wait for that trailer to be done. So that silo is placed, and that is where the silage is going to end up. So now we're going to finish harvesting this. I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, I'm back for demonstration purposes. I don't think we need to harvest the whole field. So now that I got that done, this is usually when I would actually, before this is done, I'd probably start the planter and get a little bit of efficiency going, right? You don't have to wait for it to be done. So now what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna need to put this, where this goes is it goes in the silage pit. Okay. I'm doing one little field, so it's not as like efficient necessarily, but if you're doing a big operation, which is where this method thrives, is on the really big operations, you'll basically be driving your truck back and forth to the silage pit. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to throw the silage into the silage pit. So we're going to drive on over here. We're going to go to the edge. I'm going to start on the edge, not in the middle. Okay, L2 R2, unload here, and you're going to dump the silage. Okay, and you want to get this fairly spread out, at least as best you can. Okay, gonna make this a lot easier. Okay. If you do too big of a pile, you'll actually get stuck. It's a big pain in the neck. That's why I like the other pit a little better. So now we're gonna put the truck to the side. We got our thing there. Now just imagine that pit is totally full, and we're gonna get in our pack tractor, okay? So you got the silage into the pit. Now what you have to do is you have to pack it. So if you look, get your pack tractor out. You can really use any tractor, bigger the better. If you use the wrong kind, you'll get stuck. I have a little silage plow on the back here, and I'm just kind of using it to kind of push it all flat, and that just makes it easier to drive over. If you look in that bottom left-hand corner, you will see that. You'll see the compacting level, and basically you're just going to drive over it till it gets to 100%. And the bigger the tractor, the faster it is. The more you drive over it, the faster it is. You're just going to drive over it, okay, and keep doing that till it gets to 100. It's not super hard, but you can get stuck, and it can be a little frustrating sometimes. If you use the silage pit, you don't have to do this step. Not the pit, the silage silo. Then this does it for you automatically. You don't have to do it. Okay, so now that it's at 100%. What you're going to do is you're going to come up to it, and then you can actually, so it says compacting 100%, and all you have to do is hit L3 and it'll blanket silo, and now it says fermenting silage, right? So now you have to wait for that to finish. See that it says fermenting silage 100%, so all you have to do is go up to it, uncover it, okay? Now it's open, so then the next step is we can put it into the trailer. So I'll get in my truck here. Set it up over here, and now all I'm going to do is get in my loader here, and I'm going to fill up that truck. Okay, this is where you can use different methods. You can use the belt systems to do this too. I personally just use the loader. Takes a little bit of getting used to. It's a little hard sometimes, especially when it does stuff like that. It works just fine. So just load up bucket. Grab it over here. Up. And you will dump it into the trailer. And you will just keep repeating this until it is all the way done. So I'll be back in a second. I'll speed you guys up. Okay. So that's good enough just for demonstration purposes for this tutorial. So just imagine I did that whole pit and now we're full. Now basically all you got to do is you got to go sell it. So now you go drive it down to the sell station. Usually it's a biogas plant. This map happens to have an animal farm. It's the same thing. But you're going to want to have that pit fully empty, and then you basically just rinse and repeat. I'll kind of talk while I'm driving down there. So ways to kind of increase efficiency is while you're packing, you want to let it grow, because you can't really do anything while it's packing. So I usually put a light next to it, and then so I'll plant my field, I'll harvest the field, and then as it is and then I'll dump all the silage into the pit, and then I should by then have my pit ready to harvest again. And as it's planting, I simply compact during that time, and then I can unload and kind of rinse and repeat. A couple other side notes: you don't have to use the equipment I did. That's just the ones I use. You could use different methods to pick it up. The belt systems work pretty well, but they take time and they're kind of a pain in the neck, so I'm not a huge fan of those. The fastest seems to be just the loader. There are some mods to help you do it a little faster. You can get one where it's like an auger bucket where you kind of drive into it and it works kind of like a snow plow. That one works pretty good, but there's some other options. But long story short, it's a little bit of a high maintenance, high reward, and you can get a ton of money doing this. I highly recommend it. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, guys, for more tutorials, and leave a comment on any other farming tips or videos or how-tos that you'd like to know. Thanks for watching.